Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bernard Cana. I'm the editor photographer of the website known as the Photo Pit. Over to my right is my good friend Danny Mazzeo, editor photographer of The Threshold. We're here once again to discuss Blue Ridge Rock Festival artist announcements. We're going with numbers 42 to 48 tonight, so that's going to cover everything that was on Saturday, Sunday, and today. So before we get started, Danny brought this up. He showed me some details, so I said we should talk about this up front. If anyone noticed and looked in the fan zone, you would have seen an announcement from Todd that said no more artist announcement times. I felt when it came across, it was more the fact that I think people, it sounded like when I first read it that people were complaining too much, and that's why they decided, we're not going to keep doing this. That's ridiculous. But then Danny showed me some stuff that ended up not being the case. Danny, do you want to fill in what actually was said from Mr. Sly himself?
Well, I will summarize, and hopefully, if he happens to see this, I will have summarized correctly. And if not, I'm going to just put it on you. So
okay, that's fair.
Yeah, for once, I'll blame you. It'll be nice. So apparently, Facebook and Instagram have had some technical difficulties in the scheduling of posts. Just with my own page, I will attest that it has been kind of hit or miss. But as I think most people know, you can schedule your posts out to be launched at a specific time. And when that goes, if it goes correctly, the whole world gets to celebrate because another artist announcement is dropped. Well, clearly that has not gone as well as planned over the last couple of days. And when it did, I believe it was for one of the bands that we'll be talking about, the quality of the video that had been prepared didn't even upload fully, and it was fairly blurry. And so Jonathan, which for one, again, to his credit, he's reading what's going on. He is recognizing where the energy is. He's not sleeping, very clearly, too, based on time of some of these comments. But he made it very clear that he can't deliver what he wants to deliver if these websites are not going to cooperate. And so they're looking into different ways that they can reset some of the time so that they can kind of build that back up. The artist announcements are going to continue. They just won't have the times announced in advance.
Yep. You nailed it right on the head. Perfect summary. Good job.
Thank you. I'm going to retire now.
All right. Sounds good. All right. I'll just do this by myself. So anyway, but yeah, that's the situation. So please don't go out with the hate and go comment anywhere on the fan zone about why don't we get times and all this that. They're unfortunately stuck with the programs right now that we're all using, and it's not working. And I can tell you personally, when I've gone to publish, I have my PhotoPit site. When I post articles to my site, go to my Facebook, it goes to my Twitter, and I can tell you there have been times when I have it linked to the Facebook, when it goes and sends it there, the image is gone, the image isn't right, the words don't look right. Trust me, I understand what they're going through. So just be patient, keep browsing through the Facebook, their actual official Facebook page. You'll see it, and hopefully if they get this sorted with a third party, that they can actually get these scheduled properly and released without issues, we'll probably get times back again on when the announcements will take place. Just bear with them. So don't freak out. All right, that's my piece.
Well, the freaking out can really be saved for us because we're the ones that are also trying to prepare as they're announcing. And so we know how much time we have to research these artists right before we go live.
I'm sure we'll have an artist announcement as we're doing this or something. I mean,
I hope we do.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Catch me completely off guard, right? All right. So should we talk about artists? We only have 7. I thought it was going to be 9, but we only ended up at 7 because we only had 1 today, which I was a little sad about, but that's okay. I understand it's due to the fact that they had all these issues that are going on with those posts. So it's fine. But let's kick it off. So Saturday, I will say this, Saturday's first announcement was a huge thrill for me. So let me jump into this here. So this is a band that formed back in 2006 out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They're considered rock. They're currently based out in California, which fits them just so well if you've seen them live and you've seen the way they sometimes dress themselves up, the energy it's on their stage. And what a great addition for this. That band is the Black Veil Brides. And let me tell you a little bit about, their music is rock, and it is solid rock. I'll say that. And the discography is big. So if you've never heard of them before, you have a lot to listen to and a lot to catch up on. So let me go through this here. So back in 2010, they had their actual first album that came out that was called We Stitch These Wounds. In 2011 was Set the World on Fire. Wretched and Divine, The Story of the Wild Ones was in 2013. I mean, 3 albums within what, 4 years is they're hectic and pretty strong paced on that. The Black Veil Bride self-titled album came out in 2014. Veil came out in 2018, and their most recent one they dropped last year, which I actually really like. It's a solid album. It's called The Phantom Tomorrow. That came out in 2021. So that's their discography. What do you got about them, Danny?
Honestly, not a whole lot. This is a band I've only recently discovered. Apparently, I'd been sleeping on them, and I am ecstatic. I saw that name drop on Saturday, and I was immediately hyped up thinking, all right, well, they're clearly coming out of the weekend swinging, so what else do we got? But I immediately started listening to some more of their deeper stuff. Absolutely in love with their sound. From what I've heard from others, they do put on a hell of a show, so they are on my list. They are definitely one that I want to go catch.
I can say from my personal experience, I've gotten to photograph them at a festival. I was looking forward to that set, to finally getting to catch them, and they were everything and anything I could have asked for. For the fans will love them. They'll love their energy. They'll love their vocals. They'll love their music. I'll say for the media will love them too. Anyone who's in a pit getting to shoot the Black Veil Brides will get everything they've ever asked for. Interaction, it's the stylish show off. I mean, they just put on a show. They're entertainers. So yeah, great addition. And sadly, I missed when they came through. Who were they with? In This Moment. They were In This Moment, Dead, and Raven Black. And when they came through on their last tour, they decided because of COVID protocols, no media at all. So that made me like crushed heart on that one. So I was excited for this.
I'm glad you recovered.
Yeah, I recovered too.
More or less.
Oh, I was actually super sad about it. So yeah, it is what it is. All right. So Aiden's late. Hi, Aiden. Welcome to the show. All right, our next band up. I will say this, the next couple of bands that got announced, there's a chunk of these I did not know about. So I tried to do as much research as I possibly could before we got here. So the next one, we went back to the heavy on the announcements. So we went from rock to metalcore. This is another band out of Ohio. They formed back in 2007 under the name of Ambience, and then ended up changing their name later on. This was, and I gotta check this real quick if you all bear with me, because I need to find the actual announcement because I can't remember. Were they listed? They were not. So they're not listed as, it was interesting because they had done a farewell tour, but they're not listed as a reunion band for this band. So any case, but the band that we're talking about and that people seem very excited about was Attack Attack. So let me go through their discography real quick. They only have 3 albums that were out. Someday Came Suddenly came out in 2008. Their self-titled album Attack Attack came out in 2010. And then This Means War came out in 2012. They were originally with Rise Records at that last album, and then that following year did like a farewell tour, and then that was it, and they were done. They had a reformation of the band back in 2020, but haven't heard anything about new music up into this point. It looks like they did release one short song in 2021 called Kawaii Cowboys. And then they had another one, here we go, also in 2021 called Brakura Bombshell. But outside of that, no mention of like new album or anything along those lines. And now here they are playing Blue Ridge. So what about you? Do you know these guys at all from music wise?
These guys.
You do?
I do. I remember hearing one of their songs, couldn't tell you what, on one of the Sirius XM stations, and it definitely caught me off guard. It was a band I hadn't heard before, so started down that rabbit hole and have kept them kind of on and off on the rotation. It's not my go-to from that genre per se, but I could absolutely see why there's a lot of excitement for them, particularly when you have a band that kind of has that they've kind of been an elusive feel, right? They've been around, they've done a farewell, they've done a reunion. Like you said, they don't have a whole lot of new music, but they've had a couple of tracks. So where are they going with this, especially with a festival appearance this year? I'm going to speculate that hopefully this means that they're going to hit the studio at some point. We'll see. But definitely a high energy band. So on board with that, looking through some of these comments, and there's a lot of hype for these guys, as there should be.
Okay. Megan also said they had another single out called All My Life.
All My Life, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Megan. Yeah,
There,
okay. I'll have to add them on. Take a look.
Megan added a really good comment here as well, that Caleb Shomo was their keyboard, then screamer, then clean vocals. So for those that don't know, Caleb is currently with Beartooth. And so, you know, you kind of, you see the, just kind of the bands and their overlap and their roots. And I do remember that now that Megan said that. So Megan, thank you. I appreciate the comments and helping to keep us on task. Jim's referencing Austin Carlisle from Of Mice and Men, also as part of the Attack history. So
okay, cool.
Definitely a lot of names. So good energy. Bring it on.
I'll have to give them a listen and see for myself, because like I said, when this one dropped, I had not heard of them. I was kind of surprised, because a lot of the fan zone comments had heard of them. You know, like people were super excited about them. I'm like, yes, cool, but I don't know these guys. So I'll learn about them and learn about it for myself. And just a quick mention, because I saw in the comments, yes, Doug, every now and then I may have a child walking behind me because they're going back and forth, and you know, so it's a ghost walker at some point. There's something there behind me. Anyway, all right.
I was wondering if you were going to have seen that comment and say anything about it.
Yeah, I'll say something about it.
I just thought it'd be kind of cool to let the conspiracies fly, that, you know, you got a haunted webcast going.
You want me to? I'll start conspiracies if you want me to start conspiracies, and I will have some for you when we're done with our band stuff.
Yeah, we'll do that as an aside later down the line. 18, come back for more.
Come back for more. All right, here we go. So the next announcement that was released, this is a band that was at Blue Ridge last year. Danny and I had to go some back and forth about that, whether they were here or not. They were. And a lot of people were excited the fact that now they're coming back again. Alternative metal, from the way they're defined, they're out of Greenville, South Carolina. They came around in 2011, currently with Better Noise Music. And I'll tell you, that's a record label that used to be known as 7-Eleven that completely rebranded itself due to, unfortunately, I won't go into why, but they rebranded themselves and they came back. That label stronger than ever. They have some great artists that are on their lineup. So the fact that this band is with them, I think, speaks volumes to their talent. The band that we're discussing here is known as Islander. So, and I said, like, people were super excited to see this one on here. Islander does not have a lot of music out currently today. They do have 2 EPs and 2 studio albums. So in 2012, they released on their own the EP called Side Effects of Youth. In 2013, they were with Victory Records and they released an EP called Pains. Then in 2014, they released Violence and Destruction that actually hit the Heat Seeker chart for Billboard at number 40. Power Under Control in 2016 was then their next studio album, and that hit number 9 on the US Heat Seeker chart. It made it to number 18 on the US Hard Rock charts. So, I mean, the fact that, you know, they Billboard and with some good numbers on there speaks, you know, to me, a lot of volumes about, you know, these guys. So what do you know about Islander? Tell me your feels.
Not a lot. This is another band that kind of caught me off guard. To your point, I had to double check the lineup from last year, because I knew that they were supposed to be there, but I was also thinking, you know, hey, Blue Ridge math, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But here we are. I remembered why I did not get to see them. I was busy running as a shuttle driver for a bit that day, so at least I had an excuse. But okay. This is a band that, again, I'm not overly familiar with. It's a band I've already started adding to the playlist on Spotify to try to get a better feel for them. There was a lot of energy for them. There was a lot of excitement in the fan zone. So, you know, it's one of the reasons that we're doing this, so that we could actually learn new music ourselves.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
this is one that I'm all about exploring more. So if anybody that's with us right now wants to throw some song titles out of what I need to check out, I would really appreciate that. Bernard, obviously being the encyclopedia that he is, probably has some titles too, but maybe not. But I'll take whatever you guys have.
Yeah, I am not encyclopedia. I'll say real quick about this because people have mentioned this. I am not by any way. Aiden probably knows more about music than I do. I'll say that, like with the in-depth knowledge. I am a good researcher, but that's pretty much it. So unless it's a band I personally really know and love, but a lot of these bands I've had to do research on, and that's where I just pull my information and be able to talk to it after I familiarize myself with them. So in any case, Christina says she was jamming out to Islander this weekend when she's cleaning her house.
Hell yeah.
So there's some love for Islander. Okay. Very cool. All right, on to the next band. Now this one got me super excited. Hard rock band out of Las Vegas, Nevada. They formed back in 2003. So they've been around a long time. And I will say this, I would say this is probably the most underrated best band you don't know and you need to know. And you're probably like, what are you talking about? Yeah, because and I honestly, just because they're so good, and if you don't know of them, I'm telling you, go listen to their music now and prepare to be blown away. So the band that we're talking about is known as Otherwise. So Otherwise, like I said, formed in 2003, they have a fairly decent discography that's out there for them. Let me go through the EPs first, then we'll go through the actual studio albums. So in 2009, they had an EP known as Some Kind of Alchemy. In 2013, they had Enjoy the Pain. 2016, they had From the Roots Volume 1. And then in 2018, they had From the Roots Volume 2. So those 2 EPs. They were with Century Media Records, and Century Media has very big faith in their bands, and they love a lot of metal and hard rock too. If I remember correctly, I think Lacuna Coil is still with them. But then they ended up signing on with Mascot Records, who they're currently with now. And that's another label has some really great artists that are on there. And I love the fact that they have total support for this band and total trust in them. Their studio albums, 2006 was their self-titled called Otherwise. In 2012 was True Love Never Dies. And that's the first one that actually charted for them. So it made it onto the Heatseeker chart at number 2 at its peak, to the US rock charts at number 10, and the Billboard 200 it hit 123. Not bad for a second album out the door. Peace at All Costs came out in 2014. That one made it to number 5 on the rock charts for Billboard, number 10 on the independent charts, which that independent chart always confuses me. I'm like, but they're with the record label. How are they independent? But in any case, and it made it up to number 49 on the Billboard 200. Sleeping Lions was out in 2017. That only charted up to number 30 on the independent charts. And then their last record called Defy, that's on that was with Mascot Records, and they released that, was 2019. Unfortunately, that didn't chart, which I don't understand why, because that's a great album. So, but that's Otherwise. Have you listened to their music before at all?
I have from 2003, whenever the first time that I caught them on the radio, like old school actual FM radio. I was immediately hooked. This is a band that I have kept up with over the years. Really excited for them. I think for me, they have a song called Soldiers, and I get chills from hearing that song every time. Their video, everything about that song, just red, white, and blue, just all the way. And I shared this on the Threshold page, and I have no qualms sharing it again here. I would love to see them do something special for 9/11. I don't know if that's the day that they're playing, but with it being over the course of that weekend, for them to do something with that song, I think would just be absolutely beyond incredible. And hopefully I'll be able to keep my emotions together and not have to run off after the fact. But yep. Great band, really great hard rock sound, just cutting. Yeah, definitely one that I'm catching.
Yeah, I won't pass up on them. If anyone's seen, I posted photos I took of them when they were just recently here in Orlando. as part of the Rebel Rock Festival that happened, and they are just the nicest guys. Total fan interaction all the way, and you could just see it from their expressions on their faces. They get very engaged with the fans, and with media, they love us too. So hands down, there's just no way I am not missing that set, like at all. Just like not at all. Let me just take a quick peek at the comments, see if anyone's got anything in here. Okay. Yeah, Soldier's a big one. Yeah, I guess Courtney, he does kind of sound like Lay from Pop Evil. There's a similar vibe and sound. I mean, and
Yes.
that's like if you want to compare it to a band, that's how I probably would say with Otherwise. You want to compare them to someone, I compare them to Pop Evil. They have that very same rock sound, very same energy. I love these guys. I'm so excited. That's a great ad. All right. Let's see. This one. This one. This one I know is a fan zone, like, you know, when the announcement came through and the fan zone kind of went crazy when they saw this. It's a band from Salt Lake, Utah, which I find this very funny. They're listed as deathcore. Like deathcore out of Salt Lake, Utah. I'm like, there's just some oxymoron about that somewhere in there. They were formed in 2007. They have 2 EPs and 5 length albums. They are so well known apparently within the fan zone though, because when this announcement dropped, people went nuts. They could not unfortunately make it last year. They were supposed to be there but couldn't, due to pandemic stuff that's going on. The band, if I pronounce it correctly, was Chelsea Grin, and I remember just seeing this going, that's cool to get them back, and then seeing like just the fan zone go completely ape, you know what, over this. So let me talk quickly about their studio albums here. So 2010 was their very, let me see here. They had an EP, a self-titled EP that came out in 2008. Then in 2010 was their actual first studio album. That was called Desolation of Eden. And that album off the bat actually hit the Heat Seeker charts at number 21, where it's peaked. That's impressive for your first studio album. Let's see here. Then in 2011 was My Damnation. That ended up hitting a bunch of different charts. And it was interesting because for a band that's so heavy, they actually hit the rock charts, which I find really odd, but okay, you know, whatever works. Their highest peak on that was on the hard rock charts. It made it number 6. It actually also hit the Billboard 200 and peaked at 64. Like I said, not bad for, you know, new time artists coming out the gate, right? Evolve, which was an EP, they came out the following year in 2012, also charted on the Billboard 200 up to 62 for an EP. I was like, holy crud.
Pretty fantastic.
Like, that's crazy. Like to me, honestly, if anyone really follows the Billboard charts, I don't think EPs chart very often. It's not normal for an EP to chart because, you know, they're smaller, you know, unless it's someone like, I'm trying to think of a good example of one that does. Hailstorms, when they did the cover tunes, those probably charted because it's Hailstorm.
The special types of EPs, not just, hey, I threw out 5 songs,
right?
Go. It's,
yeah,
you know, either an acoustic performance or an all covers.
Right.
You know, those are the things that jump up.
But but the fact that this was just another, you know, for them, an album of just additional songs that they decided to throw out there on an EP and it hits the Billboard 200, it made it to number 4 in the hard rock charts that, you know, during their time when it ran. I was like, wow, like that's saying something now. That's all sales. That's all it's based on, right? Just got to keep that stuff in mind. All right. Ashes to Ashes was the title that came out in 2014. That made it up to number 3 on the indie charts, number 4 on the hard rock charts. It peaked at 27 on the Billboard 200. Self-Inflicted in 2016. And at this point in time, that's when they signed with Rise Records. So that's who they were with on the last 2 here. That made it up to number 2 on the US hard rock charts from Billboard. Good for them. And that was titled Self-Inflicted. And then 2018 was Eternal Nightmare. That's the last album they released. That made it to number 6 on the indie charts. It did chart at the Billboard, but only at 171, but still it made the Billboard 200. So that's good stuff. So I could say, you know, when you look at discography wise, you know, this is a band that's been successful without a doubt in the world. How much do you know their music?
Not overly, to be honest.
Okay.
When they were announced last year is when I discovered them. because I saw how insane the fan zone got about the announcement. And when that was dropped, I was like, I don't know who the hell this is. So I looked them up then, and they're heavy. They're good. Yeah. So to know that they made it back for this year, I'm fully on. I'm fully on board for that.
All right. Yeah, and that's Thomas is also saying that too. He's like, they're heavy. And I'm glad they made it back. I'm like, kudos to Blue Ridge for trying to bring back the bands that couldn't make it last year, to bring them back this year, because I think that's fair. Fans want to see them. It's just, it's sad when you hear and you just get, and when people were just like, oh my gosh, what do you mean they can't make it? It was like they were heartbroken,
Yes.
literally heartbroken over it. So cool. All right. Continuing on, 2 more to go.
Before we go too much further, I have to say 2 things. One,
okay,
Doug, I don't know if you're still with us, but now every time that a Bernard offspring walks behind him, I immediately think Ghost, and I feel like we could turn this into a drinking game. Don't encourage it. I'm just saying I could totally see that happening.
I'm not encouraging anything.
We apparently have another band to discuss tonight. So
we do. Okay.
I will, we'll go from there. In the meantime, I'll let you continue with what we've got.
All right. So next one up. This band. Come on. Thank you. Appreciate it. So this one's an odd one. Because I have never heard of this. And I've never heard of them before. So this one was an odd one to me. Let me just get to them real quick, because this one, this is interesting because this one's not listed either as a reunion. I kind of felt like I thought they were, but I guess not. So I guess they must be still fairly active in a sense. All right. This band, heavy metal, that's the way it's described, out of Washington, D.C., formed back in 1995. Was anyone on actually not born yet after that time? If Amanda was here, she may say she was. But 1995, I was like, holy crud. They have their discography was actually not small. Their discography is big. It is fairly large. And they have EPs to go along with studio albums galore. The band that we're talking about is called Darkest Hour. So let me run through their discography quickly here, which won't be quick. So they started off with an EP in 1996 that's known as The Misanthrope. They then had another EP called The Prophecy Fulfilled, and that was in 1999. Then their first studio album came out in 2000, known as The Mark of Judas. In 2001, they released another one called So Sedated, So Secure. 2003, they had Hidden Hands of a Sadist Nation. And here's the interesting part. So we've already talked about 5 albums that they had released, right? By that point, it took them until the 4th album, which is in 2005, called Undoing Ruin, before they charted. So while they took them a while to break out, they did break out, because that one peaked at number 2 on the heat-seeking chart for Billboard. It hit 138 on the Billboard 200. And then pretty much almost every album after that charted at least on one of the charts in some way, shape, or form. In 2007 was Deliver Us. That hit number 1 on the US Heatseeker and 110 on the Billboard 200. The Eternal Return in 2009 hit number 1 on the Heatseeker again. So they had 2 number 1s back to back. And then that peaked at 104 on the Billboard 200. 2011 was The Human Romance. That peaked at number 3 on the Heatseeker, peaked at 185 on the Billboard 200. Their self-titled album in 2014, oddly enough, didn't chart on the Heatseeker, which I thought that was really weird considering the trend that they were making. But it did hit the Billboard 200. It peaked at 102. But then the next album after, which was their last one in 2017, Godless Prophets and the Migrant Flora, actually hit number 1 on the Heatseeker again. So I think it's kind of odd that that one just had an offbeat. But yeah, here's a band that's been around like forever and a day, and they have tons of content that's out there to go listen to them. I was shocked that I had never heard of this band. What, do you know them at all?
I don't. And so I went down that same rabbit hole of who are these guys? And when I saw how long they've been around, I was, you gotta be kidding me. And then again, this was a band that you look at the fan zone and there's a lot of excitement for them. So clearly we were sleeping on something here. but I was, again, left field, was not expecting them, not a band I would have ever guessed. Again, didn't even know they existed. So now excited to kind of go and do some exploring.
All right. Yeah, that one threw me too, but it's cool. I'm like, okay. Like, I love the fact that here's another heavy band, that's coming out, and and they have such, they've been around for a while and such good content. And then, if I remember correctly, their lead singer has been there from the get-go. I think their lead singer and guitarist has been there like from the start. Like, so they,
Which is
the founding members are still there.
You just don't see that anymore.
No, you don't see that at all. It's so rare.
That was really cool.
For the band that long. All right. We'll talk about now the next band, and then I did see who's the next announcement, so I'll talk about them in a second. Okay. This next band, another metalcore band out of Ephrata, Pennsylvania, formed in 2007. This one was kind of odd because let me not say they don't have a lot of content, because they did. I mean, they put out 4 studio albums and an EP. They actually had a compilation, which I thought was kind of weird, but they have a compilation studio album out there as well. And then they stopped. They were done. There was nothing further after a certain year. They basically said, we're done. 2 of the musicians went off to other bands that are very well known. And then all of a sudden, here we are as they're coming back for a reunion. So this is one of the reunion bands that's going to be here playing at Blue Ridge, and they're known as Texas in July. Fans seemed very excited about this one too. So let me go through their discography. So in 2008 was their very first one, called Salt of the Earth. Their first studio album was in 2009, called I Am. In 2011 was the title One Reality. That actually did make Billboard charts. It hit number 3 on the Heat Seeker, made it to 174 on the Billboard 200. In 2012 was their self-titled album. That hit number 4 on the Heat Seeker chart and number 152 on the Billboard 200. And then in 2014 was Bloodwork, and that charted up to 71 on the Billboard 200. And then there was nothing further after that. So what can you tell me about Texas in July?
It's another one. I wasn't familiar with them, so I have nothing to add other than I'm excited to go and check out new music. I'm looking at these comments and I'm clearly behind the 8 ball here. So
I am too.
The energy is clearly there. I think I saw that this is a band that was on tour or did a one-off with August Burns Red. So I at least knew what to expect genre-wise when I started looking them up today. That's as far as I've got.
Okay. Yeah, and we do have to call out something because I thought this was interesting. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna start a little bit of the conspiracy because I'll say it. So Chris Davis, who is their guitarist, currently plays for the Ghost Inside. He's their lead guitarist there. JT I'm gonna assume it's KV, Cavey, who is the vocalist for Texas in July, is the current vocalist for Era. And someone on the fan zone, when the Blue Ridge announced officially, that their announcement, made a comment saying, oh, does that mean we're not going to see Era? And the Blue Ridge account responded with, didn't say that, with a shrug. Take that for what it's worth. So, any case, but that comment's on there. You can go look for it yourself on the announcement.
I'll tell you what, they do a good
conspiracy.
Job. They do a really good job of mining through the comments in the fan zone of, well, so I commend them for how active they are with that.
Yeah, I do too. And I'll honest, I haven't heard of Texas in July before. I'll go check them out because I love Era. I love me some Era. So, I mean, that's good. I'm okay with that. All right, so let's talk about now the recent announcement, the one that just got dropped. Thank you, Blue Ridge, for dropping one right during our stream. We appreciate you very much so. Artist announcement number 49. Now I got to update my title on this video. Artist announcement number 49. Okay, here we go. This band. Rock band formed out of Hamilton, Ontario in 2009. They're well known. Like, they've actually had appearances on TV with Late Night with Conan O'Brien. They did the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. They've been around obviously for a while. There's some of their songs have also actually been used in sports, like in ESPN, NASCAR, NFL, even hockey, basketball, baseball. It's when you hear them, you'll know them. The band we're talking about is Redlight King. So, strangely enough, though, Redlight King doesn't have that many albums out from what I'm seeing here. The only thing that they had listed that I could find was they had the original 2011 was Something for the Pain. That was their first studio album that actually charted up to number 3 on the Heat Seeking chart. 2013 was Irons in the Fire. That charted at number 4 on the Heat Seeking chart. It made it to number 152 on the Billboard chart. And then after that, they only had an EP in 2015 called Helldiver. And they had no other album since then. Now, they had singles that had come out, but apparently there was another album, it's not listed in here, called Moonshine. And I'm going to assume that came out in 2019 based on what I'm looking at, but that didn't like make any headways anywhere. But, I think it's a good ad. Do you know Red Light King?
I do, and it's a fun ad. That's really all I can say about it. I think it was just gonna be a fun set. I'm over here chuckling though. I'm still trying to keep an eye on some of these comments. Amanda has joined us. God bless you,
Hello,
Amanda.
I'm chuckling because she said she's listening to One Direction.
Variety of music. We're glad to have you though. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and fair warning,
I have fun ad. That's all I'm going to say about them.
Okay, no, that's fine. Fair warning, I have a thunderstorm. Literally, it's going on like outside right now. I've seen some lights flicker, so if we suddenly drop, you know why. I'm probably burned to a crisp from a lightning strike or something. I don't know. So just
hopefully you'll recover from that too, and we'll be able to keep these going.
Hopefully. All right. So that's all the artist announcements that we had for the past 3 days for Saturday, Sunday, and today. I want to talk about something else though. So Blue Ridge. I talked briefly to Amanda about this, and I'll just leave those comments private. But Blue Ridge decided that they were going to take a step up, and this was huge when I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh. They put up an announcement in between the artist announcements today, and this went up about 3 hours ago, saying independent, unsigned, and rising artists, if they were ready to come play at Blue Ridge for a contest, all they had to do is to go to that official post, comment, and the top 10, it says that the 10 artists and bands with the most reactions to their comments by Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern is going to get submitted to the team. One of those 10 will then be picked to get paid to play at Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Like, whoa, that's huge.
That's no joke. And I'll tell you what, the comments came pouring in with every band under the sun.
Have you seen how many are on there now?
I have not.
3,300 plus. I don't know how they're gonna sort through all that to figure it. Yeah. I think I'll give you my opinion. This is just my opinion on what happened. I feel like they should have just said bands only and just delete every other comment that's in there that's from a regular person, because it's just good. Like, you have regular people that are tagging bands to go and comment on them, and I just feel like this should have just been like the bands only pages that should be listed on there, because that will make it so much easier to look through. I mean, because the problem is I see with this right now is, how are all the fans gonna go diving through 3,300 comments to find the bands they want to put reactions on? Like, I couldn't even get through, at the time when I looked at it, it was 1,400. I couldn't even get through half of that. So this is a little crazy, but yep, it's out there, people. It's like, so
better them than us. My patience would not stand for it.
I went through something like this last year when I offered to do interviews for the Rising Talents and got inundated, and that was small compared to this.
Yep.
So yep. I will say some of the bands that I did see on here, which I was excited to see them comment. I'll throw out a couple of them right away. Raven Black put themselves out there. Sepsis did.
Yep.
Who else? To Begin Anew, they were there last year. They want to come back this year. Fate Destroyed put their name in the hat. They want to come back again. But this one, okay, this is my personal pick. If there is a band I hope makes it into that 10 to get picked to play, because I've heard nothing but great things about them, especially for energy, for vibe, for their rock, is Powerlandra. And if you don't know who they are, go YouTube them. But they threw their name into the hat too, to want to come play. So yeah,
check out that post.
That's my personal
check
pick.
Out that
If I had to pick
post.
one.
If nothing else, go and bookmark every one of those artists and start checking out music.
Yeah.
There is so much talent out there. And I'm excited. I already saved that post because I will be doing exactly that. I can't wait.
Yes, Christina, prayer for Amanda's in the company. Indeed. Yeah, this one, absolutely. Let me see who else.
I think they might want some more admins over the next 24 hours. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. So I forgot Matt Irie's band is on there. Sorry, didn't mean to ignore them. I did. That's and also Ray Ray too. Roadzilla popped in there. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I will say this. I love the idea. I just unfortunately feel, you're talking about a fan community for this festival that's so large. So all the fans are throwing in names of,
so
of
the
people that they want to
page,
see.
This was on the main festival page, which has 100,000 likes. I don't know how many followers. And then you look at what's going on in the fan zone, which is 33,000 and growing.
Yeah.
So it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's Amanda and anybody else that will be handling this. God bless. Godspeed.
God bless you. Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I don't know how. I honestly don't know how you manage that, contest with just the amount of content that's on there. So,
and I'm going to say it now, and you heard it here first. I demand a recount.
Oh, it's funny. Do you have a personal pick out of any of the bands that were on there that you've seen so far?
For me, seriously, and I know I keep shouting their name anyway, but Matt Irie Band, I would absolutely. They just have a different vibe that is just summer fun, just feel good kickoff kind of party. And so I'm biased towards them. I have no shame in saying that. They are from North Carolina, except for Matt himself, who currently lives in Arizona. So not all bands need to come from Florida. But again, thumbing through the comments, it's just incredible. It's really incredible. Adelita's Way was thrown on there, because they're still an independent. Kingdom Collapse, great band, independent. Just the amount of talent that is in that list is just,
I know. It's huge. It's just I love the idea of doing this. I just don't know how you sort through all the comments. That's all. They'll figure it out. That's
maybe after the festival we can tackle that ourselves and try to help find some more of that music and get the word for them. So
yeah,
we'll see if people put up with us that long.
I'd say, like I said, Powerlandra for sure. When I saw their name hit the list, I was like, yes, that to me is a must. And Raven Black is just a personal preference I'd love to see them come. That's just right now some of my calls that I saw out there. With Powerlandra, there's something, they're hot right now. There's something about that band.
They really are. They are, and they're popping up everywhere. I'm really excited about kind of seeing where that band is going. Their trajectory is it's on point.
Yes. So I'll say right now, I guess when they have to go through, the staff's gonna have to go through all those comments to figure out the top 10. I'm excited to see who gets the win. But we'll call it Blue Ridge Math right now. So should we explain what we mean when we talk about that? About Blue Ridge Math?
Two hashtags have already been announced through the course of our webcast here. Right, we've got Blue Ridge Math and we've got Surf the Slide.
Surf the Slide.
I want to see both of those completely take off. So if you're hanging with us, please start using those on a regular. Blue Ridge Math, Surf the Slide.
The joke about the Blue Ridge Math is that this started this year because of the count of artists that was on there. When we were constantly talking in our first few live streams about 169, and then one day I went and looked and it was showing 171 on one of the announcements, and I was like, Danny, why are I seeing 171? You keep saying 169. And he's like, I don't know. And then at one point it was saying 159 and it was supposed to be 169. So we just accounted up to Blue Ridge Map, So and then last year artists were on, they were off, they dropped, they added. They were going back and forth. So the count was always, fluctuating at any point in time. And we're not picking on Blue Ridge by any way, shape, or form. Just
No,
that this is
no.
what we refer to it as now. You know, they just more bands have gotten on here. It's like, holy crud. Like, and now, I mean, think about it, we were talking about 171, and now they're already talking about adding another artist, an unsigned, you know, rising talent artist onto the list. Like, hello? This is nuts. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So that was that. Those are all the bands that we're here to talk about. But I do want to talk about one other piece. So I told Danny about this. So as an announcement came in through one of, I don't remember which one it was. Oh, I remember some Jonathan's comment, right? That was a part of it. And also I think from Todd's post about no more announcement times, or it was somewhere in there, but there was a reference to saying starting Tuesday that the band announcements are going to start getting hot and that they're going to be big. So I don't know if we're expecting a headliner to come through. That's a hunch, but I don't know. So I'm going to start conspiracy theory here to say. I have some thoughts about bands that I think may get announced. I don't know if they're going to get announced this week. I think they'll hit the lineup eventually. I'm going to throw out two of them. One I'm going to say is 3 Days Grace, because right now they're listed on other festivals. I know that they're playing, you know, one down here for us. They seem to be on the road. This would make perfect sense to see them on the list. And then I'll throw out one more. And remember, I know nothing. I am just speculating. The other one I'm going to throw out there is Disturbed. I got some vibe. There's something that make me feel that they're on this list somewhere. So leave it at that. Talk amongst yourselves. See what you think. But yeah, I'm starting theories now. There's my speculations.
According to Christina, looks like Wednesday we might be getting a headliner.
That'll be perfect timing, won't it now? I wonder why.
Well, Wednesday might be an interesting time to do a live stream.
It might. Well, we plan on doing it anyway. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? That's what we're gonna stick with.
Yeah.
So, Aiden said, Danny, any guesses? Danny can't.
I will plead the fifth throughout the course of.
Yes, Danny has to plead the fifth, so he can't. So, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Courtney. No, I'll give Courtney credit.
Me.
She pulled out the 3 Days Grace one, by the way. But I agreed with her 100% on that. I think they will.
Christina said that Wednesday things get real.
Wednesday things get real? All right.
Yes.
So Wednesday things get real.
Yep.
Wait, no what? Amanda, wait, no what? What?
That's all I got.
Jonathan said Wednesday was going to get real. I thought it was supposed to be there. Oh, Doug pulled out here. And here's an interesting conspiracy one. Doug says, if you look at Greta Van Fleet's schedule, there's a gap during our fest. That's going to depend on where they are in the timeline. If they're on the other side of the US, they're probably not going to be playing Blue Ridge to go back out to the West Coast or something. So you got to look at that carefully. Now Christina's saying, I did not say headliner. I did not say headliner. No, I said a headliner. I said maybe we'll get a headliner. That's what I said. I said I'll start the conspiracy theory.
No matter how you want to slice it, things are getting real.
Things are getting real. So I said maybe we'll see a headliner. That was my words. You know, because I'll be happy to start that conspiracy theory. That would be an interesting add to a festival. He's a good artist.
He is.
I don't think it would be everyone's. I don't think it'd be everyone's
maybe he could collaborate with somebody on stage. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, but you know, like the interesting part is like when you look at this festival and everyone's saying like, you know, oh, we want rock, we want metal, we want whatever. There are bands out there that I could think today who would be built for festivals that'd be perfect for this, but I don't think they'd ever get signed. And I'll throw out the perfect one. You know who? Styx.
Ooh.
Mill that through your brain for a second, right? Here's a classic rock band, because let's call them that, right? Who's been around for just forever, since 1972. They're still playing today and playing really well, by the way. Their energy, their vibe, and you can't tell me that every person who would be at Blue Ridge would not know at least one song from them.
Yeah, to Christina's point, Renegade. I mean,
right?
the entire place would be bouncing.
Yeah, the entire place would be singing along to every song that they ever would put out on stage. And I know there are people in there who'd be like, oh my God, no, we wouldn't want them there. And then when you saw them there and saw them playing, you'd be like, well, wow, that was a mistake. Why did I say this before?
Yep.
Because I
Right.
understand they're an older band, but man, they have a vibe. I mean, but that's the thing about festivals that I love so much, is that there's so much opportunity for seeing so many different types of music. But unfortunately, like, I don't see any festival ever wanting to sign them. And I don't know why they don't, because they should. And it's just an example of one band. And there's plenty of other artists out there who you kind of fit that same, vibe of, here's a great band that's been on the road, they're currently touring, doing whatever else, but no one in their right mind would ever think to sign them because they feel like the backlash just wouldn't buy.
Yep.
And I'm thinking like, yeah, 6 would be perfect for a festival, especially at this festival. That's just my 2 cents. So that's not saying they are. I'm just saying I would love to see someone like this get on the lineup, because I think they'd be hot. I think people would love them. I think people would absolutely love them. Because who doesn't know Styx? I mean, come on. Anyway. All right. Those are hang on a second. The guy said if a great. Oh yeah, Amigo the Devil. I know them. I've seen him. He's good. He pulls in a good crowd. He reminds me of like Jelly Roll. He has that, maybe not the same type of music, but he's that same type of solo artist. He
The
does,
on-stage persona and the engagement. Yeah.
Amigo's cool. I love him. Amigo's good people. Somebody said Leonard Skinner. Yeah, there's another band who's, old school classic rock. I've seen them live. They're still great.
They still hit the circuit. I mean, they hit
Yeah.
the festival circuit fairly regularly still. So.
They do. That's like, just saying, there's tons of stuff that could be coming this way. But I guess we'll have to wait until this week to see what drops and be hopefully really surprised. And hopefully thrilled.
Be a headliner.
That'd be great if it was. And no, Christina did not say it was a headliner. I'm not trying to get her fired from her moderator job. It's not.
No dollar.
I said hoping it's a headliner this week. But I mean, honestly, we're ready. How many? We've been doing this for what, 2-3 weeks already? Has it been that long already? Let me look at the calendar real quick.
No,
we started back in February. I think around the 18th. So 1, 2, 3. We're in week 4 already.
I'm just glad that this was a once a week occurrence that we agreed to.
Oh God, yeah, right, sure. I can't do that. Too much content. But here's the thing. I mean, we're 4 weeks in. Talking about band announcements. We're already up to number 49, right? But we still haven't seen a headliner yet.
It's less than a third of all of the bands.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. But here, I'm gonna check something real quick on their website. We're talking about the top, let's see, within 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So the first highest artist as of right now, if you look at the lineup on the actual official website, 4, is that 4 rows? 1, 2, 3. I can't count. Gosh, my brain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, okay. The highest number artist, if you started looking at the lineup and just like counting down numbers, is Lamb of God, and they're number 13. So, I think it's time that we see someone higher than them. Get people really excited. Not like they're not excited already as it is about this festival.
Are we talking like Bernard at Ginger excited or Bernard at Seven Dust excited?
I would say Bernard at, I'd say Bernard at Seven Dust excited. We need to, like, as much as I really do love Ginger, Seven Dust, I've just been with them longer, had more personal experiences. I'm super excited for that. Amanda says, where is she at? Hang on a second. I missed your comment. Can we talk about Darkest Hour again? What do you want to talk about? What about them, Amanda? We did talk about them.
She loves them. Okay.
Oh, she does. Okay.
She just absolutely loves them.
We didn't know them, so it's it'll be exciting to see them, and see them perform. Their discography was decent, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like I feel like we're at this point in time now where we need a headliner. We need a headliner to be dropped. Someone that
I would certainly be in favor, highly in favor. I am all for it. despite anything that I know or don't know, seeing the energy after each of these announcements has my adrenaline just rushing. And I like, to me, I'm thriving on that, man. Like
Yeah.
every day, really cool to see that much more excitement building and building. And we still have 6 months to go.
I know. I know. I know. Oh, it's crazy. Corny says you need to drop Gojira or Slipknot for people to go ape. Well, here, I'll throw out the conspiracy theory again. So remember the number of artists that we're seeing that have either they weren't there last year or were there last year and come back. Gojira was supposed to play 2021, but couldn't get into the country. Take that for what it's worth, right? And then also, I'll throw out one more for people to think about, Light the Torch. They were supposed to play last year, and they made personal decision not to, because of the pandemic and whatnot. So, and I'm trying to think. I think there's one more here. I'll drop you even one more to get your guys' minds thinking. Theory of a Dead Man was supposed to play last year. They did the same thing. They pulled out of their tours, because of the pandemic. I actually got to cover them last night. They are fantastic. I would love to see them on this lineup. Super thrilled to see them there. I think fans would love them. And they are going now by Theory of a Dead Man again, because they stopped using that term. They went with Theory because of their music change. I interviewed their bassist, Dan, at one point. I think it's Dan at one point. And he had said, like, our music has evolved and changed. So we felt like the Theory of a Dead Man was a stigma that just wasn't fitting us. So they went and shortened it to Theory. But now they're back to Theory of a Dead Man again, because that's what they announced themselves yesterday. So it's like, okay. They have that privilege to do it. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some bands that kind of get your minds thinking. Will we see them? Yes or no? All right. Anyway. All right, we're about at that time. So Danny, do you have any parting words, final words, anything you want to throw out there?
I do actually, and it's
All
not
right,
even
go for it.
It's not even related to music. So, we've gotten serious on a few of these for different reasons. We've talked about mental health, we've talked about recovery, two very, very important topics. And there's one more that is really near and dear to me. And for those that don't know, it is National Kidney Month, and that is a real thing. And so I wanted just to take a quick moment and share for just my own personal story. Those that don't know, I donated a kidney anonymously earlier this year through the National Registry. Apparently, they shipped my kidney off to Utah, and the gentleman that received it is now able to spend time with his grandkids, which is absolutely just mind-blowing and awesome on so many levels. But I share that not for me. I share that for we are all in a position to do something to make this world a little bit better. And with it being National Kidney Month, I urge you to consider being an organ donor, whether you want to do that while you're alive. I'm more than happy to talk to any one of you that might be interested. If not, at least consider being a deceased donor. Saving lives one at a time, it makes a difference. We all have that opportunity to do so. So I'm off my pedestal. I appreciate you letting me steal the airwaves for that. I will post my own promotional link in the comments here after we sign off. So if you do want to hear about my journey, I'm more than happy to share it. But thank you for that moment.
You're quite welcome, sir. You can promote that anytime, at any time, because you are a hero for doing that. We appreciate you. That's awesome. What's the website again? Remind people where they can read your story.
Weekendconversations.com.
Yep. Go check it out. Read his story. Find out. Buy his book too, by the way. It's on Amazon. Title again, one more time.
Weekend Conversations.
Is that the title of the book?
Real Dad is the book. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Go find that on Amazon. Buy Danny's book and read his journey as a father. There you go.
It's if there's any parents out there, which is probably why one of the main reasons that you want to go to this festival and get away from all of it, and I respect that wholeheartedly. It's a wild ride. It's horrifyingly amazing, and I'm on record saying that.
Yes, he
More
is.
ways than one now. So I'll post my links in the comments. Again, thank you for the opportunity, Bernard. Thank you
Anytime.
as always for hosting. And to everybody that's hanging out with us tonight, a huge thank you. One more time, Blue Ridge Rock Festival, Virginia International Raceway, September 8th through the 11th, 4 days, 5 stages, 171, give or take 10 or 12. And it's just going to be absolutely freaking epic. Get your tickets. If you have not already, get your tickets.
Yeah, because let me comment real quick before we sign off on that. We talk about tickets real quick. I gotta find it. Hang on. I'm sorry. Because I didn't even think about this. Hang on. Dun, dun, dun. Where was it? I know they commented. There we go. Ticket alerts. This came out with the Texas in July announcement. So since Danny brought up the tickets, let me read it real quick. Rockstar passes are now in tier 3. There's only a handful of 4-day VIP passes in tier 3 before it moves to tier 4. And there's less than 150 International Raceway RV with electric spots remaining. So if you're looking to grab an RV, go get them now. There's not that many spots left, and there's less than 100 premium tent car campsites remaining. So if you're serious about wanting to come, please go ahead and grab those ASAP, because you're gonna kick yourself, about missing out if you don't. So there we go. Any case. All right. Well, that's, I guess, us for tonight. Thank you very much, Danny Mazzeo of The Threshold. Thank you, everyone who joined us. We appreciate you. And then keep an eye out, look out on both our sites for, upcoming content about various music tours and whatnot that's hitting. Hopefully this week I'll get up the tour from Theory of a Dead Man with Shaman's Harvest. That's a fun band. I'd love to see them at Blue Ridge Rock Festival. That'd be great. So, keep an eye on our sites, and then we'll be back again on Wednesday. We're gonna keep this regular time. So Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll be back. If something changes, we'll let everyone know, in our normal, announcements. But come back and join us, share with your friends, bring more people, and we'll have a good time. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have yourself a good night. Thank you once again, Danny. We'll talk again soon.
All right, everybody have a good one.